On Whirlpool presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 timeout powered by Dell. It's time to look ahead to the game between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Kings 11 Punjab. Joining me shortly, Tom Moody and Ajit Agarkar. Tom, first of my statements, Rashid Khan should bowl in the power play to KL Rahul.
I think it's definitely something that David Warner and the think tank should think about, mainly because Bhuvneshwar Kumar is injured now, out for the tournament. They're lacking that strike bowler in the power play. So it'd be worth considering him for an over or two just to match up against that dynamic opening pair of KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal.
Ajit?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he prefers bowling after the first six, but there's certainly a case, especially if they get off to a start in the first 3 or 4 overs. They've got to get him on. They need wickets. Both the departments at the moment having some issues. So why not just put pressure on the opposition and get early wickets? That way you can at least control the middle of the innings.
You've got an excellent record against KL Rahul. Rashid Khan, 24 balls faced, 16 runs scored, and Rashid's dismissed Rahul twice. So something to consider for Warner and co. Statement number 2, Ajit, Punjab should find a way to fit in Mujeebur Rahman in their 11.
Yeah, I think so. I think they should try and see who their 5 best bowlers are. If they're anyway playing 6 batsmen, where Sarfaraz bats at 6 and going with 5 bowlers, then you may as well go with the guy who has the best chance to try and give you those 4 overs. At the moment, Jordan seems to be struggling a little bit. So I'd certainly look at it because he can bowl at the start of the innings and get wickets. I don't think they have too many choices. I don't know whether they'll make that decision, but he certainly should be one of their first choices if they do.
They brought Jordan back in for Nisham last game. Tom, would you swap him out for Mujeeb just yet?
I would definitely consider Mujeeb. I've been saying that throughout the tournament. I just think a bowler of his capability and difference is really important to any bowling lineup, particularly a bowling lineup that is suffering like Kings 11 Punjab. I would be looking more so to use him as a replacement for Maxwell and then looking at playing another local Indian batsman in the top 6. That'd be the way I'd be trying to, juggle the pack.
All right, interesting. There are Indian batsmen in reserve. They dropped Karun Nair last game. Let's see how Rahul goes. Let's go to statement number 3. Hyderabad have a few concerns of their own, and we believe they should accommodate Billy Stanley in Bhuvneshwar Kumar's absence. Tough one, Tom. Go for it.
Yeah, look, I don't think so. Not at this stage. I think one thing that has started to work is that combination of Bairstow, Warner and Williamson. Obviously, Rashid Khan's a lock. So I don't think the overseas is where they can really manoeuvre things at the moment. I think also one thing Sunrisers have, even though they've got a couple of injuries with their bowling stocks, is they've got depth in their Indian pace attack. So there's no point having the depth and not using it when a crisis hits. Now's the chance to, back that depth and give it the opportunity.
Ajit?
Yeah, that would be the ideal scenario if he wasn't an overseas player, I think. But they have, I think, better bowling reserves than batting reserves in their squad. So to drop Williamson, when there is so much dependence on Warner and Bairstow, might be even tougher call to take. I mean, ideally, it would be nice if Billy Stanley can fit in that 11, but at the moment, I can't see how they can fit him. I think they've got to go with the top 3 of Bairstow, Williamson and Warner.
All right, let's go to our next statement. And Ajit, it's that KL Rahul should bat with more freedom. First couple of games has seen a different set of KL Rahul's numbers against the last 3 games, where he seems to be more the accumulator or the more conservative. Thoughts?
Yeah, as long as it's not forced by himself. It felt last game he was trying too hard to sort of bat deep in the innings. If that's the situation or that is what the situation demands, then fair enough. You don't want him just because he's captain to try and change his game too much. There'll be different games where you bat differently, obviously. And he's got the ability to make up even if he starts slowly, but you don't want to try and go away from your game too much because that is what puts bowlers under pressure. If you bat naturally, and at the moment, the kind of white ball form that he's been in, why would you want to change anything?
Has the change in approach coincided with the change of fortune in terms of results for Punjab, Tom?
I'd look at it the other way. And do we take into consideration maybe teams have bowled a little bit better to him? And the other thing to consider is that because he came out of the block so quickly and scored that amazing 130 are our expectations too high? Are we expecting him to play that mind-blowing innings every time he walks out to bat? I agree with Ajit. I just think that he needs to continue to back himself and play his game plan. And there's got to be times that he strikes at 130 and there's going to be times that he strikes at 180. That's the nature of the game. At the end of the day, what he's doing is he's continuing to score, which is the important thing for Kings 11.
All right. And finally, for the Kings 11 Punjab, our last statement is that Nicholas Pooran should bat at 3 for Punjab. Tom?
Well, one thing that Punjab need to do is settle on a batting lineup. There's nothing worse in a team where, it's like musical chairs in that top 6. Yes, at times you need a little bit of flexibility, but it's also important from a batsman's point of view and a bowler's point of view for that matter, is that you have role clarity. You know exactly what your role is, where you come into the team and what's expected of you. So I would go with the statement, yes, he should bat at 3 and stick with him at 3 instead of keep moving him back to 4, 5 and having that musical chairs.
Looked in some serious good hitting form last game, Ajit.
Yeah, he's been looked good over the last few months. I think even in the CPL that we saw a little bit, he's been in good form. So should bat at number 3. I think said that before the start of the tournament as well, that the more opportunities that he gets, especially when he's playing as well. Mandeep maybe came to attack the spinners last game, so it could be a one-off. But 100% agree with Tom. I think once your top 3 need top 3 or 4 guys need to be settled. That's where your bulk of your runs should ideally be scored. And why keep changing, especially as is the team's under pressure. You don't want to chop and change too much.
All right, Ajit Agarkar, Tom Moody, thank you very much. This was our build-up to the game between Sunrisers and Punjab on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.